said was untrue, that over 100% of people that eat bread die. They never brought up any counter evidence against this, so we can just assume that this is true. So 100% of people would die, as opposed to maybe they didn't bring up a number of people that would die from nuclear holocaust. So maybe only 2% of people will die from that nuclear holocaust. We are obviously saving many, many more people by banning bread. Now I'd like to address the negative team's last speeches, and I'm going to start with a disadvantage. The second disadvantage of business lost. Now they brought up the House of Bread. Now I'd just like to point out that the House of Bread is killing people! It's killing your friends and your family! We want this place to go out of business. Also, the second my second response to that is that you can make the House of Bread into the House of Pasta. It doesn't have to say the House of Bread. It may not go out of business. It can be the House of Pasta or the House of Eggplants. It does not have to say the House of Bread. And my third response to this is that there are no other examples of businesses that will go out of business. Only the House of Bread, which I've never heard of in my entire existence. Moving on down to their third is...
I hate to interrupt, but people need to see this windmill, this green job.
My speech.
Okay.
That's the big one.
Their third is a
Green job. Green job.
Picture of farmers hurt. They said that farmers will be hurt, and I would like to also point out that these farmers are already being hurt because of the droughts, etc. And these farmers are linked with Al Qaeda. These people are evil. We must put them out of business anyway. And we.
Point of order. That's a new argument.
That was a new response. Responses are fine.
All right, moving on down to the third harm, that of infant stroke, and they said that your brother ate peanut butter and jelly every single day. Now, my response to that is he must have a fairy godmother. That's the only explanation.
Obviously.
Now,
or he's gonna die later.
or he's gonna die. Oh, and I have a response to that. They said we ate bread and we're not dead. I'd like to point out that you don't die the instant you touch bread. You will die at some point. What?
That was me tapping for your argument.
Oh, was it supposed to be like Jolly
That's a good thing. Yes.
Jolly good.
So it's not poisonous in the sense that you will drop dead the instant you eat it, but you will eventually die. The harmful effects of it will wear on your body, and you will die at some
It's
point.
like cancer.
So yes, it's definitely cancerous. Moving on down to their point about the droughts, that you don't want to hurt the farmers anymore, and if there's no wheat, there is no bread to ban. And I'd like to point out that there's wheat in Saskatchewan. I know that's the wheat breadbasket or whatever of Canada. There's wheat in Europe. There's wheat in China. There's wheat everywhere, and that is contradictory to their point that there will be bread coming in from China. So they can't have it both ways.
Make that argument to myself.
Somebody did.
Let me make that
They also said, shush, that 90% of all bread is in the U.S. I didn't get that. But they're Alright, moving on down to their observations. They said there's no quantification for green jobs, and then there's no evidence for farmers wanting green jobs. And I'd like to point out again that the farmers are bad, we want to put them out of business, etc.
That's a totally new argument. We want to put the farmers
You have
out of
new
business.
arguments. You have
That's ridiculous.
You guys,
you accept it.
guys.
You accept my disadvantage and you turn it into an argument in the rebuttal.
And also,
that is wrong.
the farmers are not
Point of order.
The farmers are not going to go out of business.
Don't kill the driver.
I want to. The farmers will not go to business. They can still.
Your mom wants to.
Your mom.
They can still sell wheat to pasta makers
isn't going
and
on
cake
Facebook
makers and
anymore.
pie makers, which the negative team dropped. There's still cakes, pies, pasta, and whatever else. So wheat farmers, the good wheat farmers will be in business, and the bad wheat farmers will be out of business, and everybody is happy. Moving on down to their nuclear weapons are already here, and there is no nuclear holocaust impending. Now I'd just like to point out that Russia hates us with a burning passion. They want to kill us. So there's already
No evidence.
nuclear holocaust.
No evidence for that.
I have evidence that relations are doing great.
Well, you didn't bring it up.
Well, you just made a new argument.
I'm sorry.
Points of
New arguments in your life.
You just said I'm sorry. That's a response. It was not a new argument.
Did you bring evidence?
Moving on down to the third observation that of the black market, and they're shipping bread to the U.S. from China. Now, I'd like to point out this is in contradiction to the fact that they said that
the issue
there
you
is
should
no
note on,
bread.
Judge.
Now, listen. Here it is. First of all, the economy is bad. We can all agree on that. We already have. Now, how are American people going to afford this black market bread? It's probably going to cost $20
Wait. Because our government spends money when they don't have it.
I did not accept your question or your point of arbitration.
And 424 people love bread. And the United States
people
spends their money
just
anyway.
in California, alone, there are 36 million people. In California alone, that's not even the entire U.S. So your argument is invalid.
No, because I had, remember?
So this black market, this is the most important thing. This black market bread is going to be hard to get, and it's going to be very expensive, and the American people are not going to want to endanger their families by possibly getting caught and going to jail for getting this bread from the black market. Man cannot live on bread alone. There's so much other food on there. Why does he have to eat bread? Now, moving on down to the disadvantage. Where did I go? Oh, the Pillsbury Doughboy suicide. I like to point out this is one person. With our plan, we're saving millions and millions and millions and billions, actually 7 billion people. And the Pillsbury Doughboy does not have to go suicidal. He can team up with the Michelin tire dude and become a Michelin tire guy. He doesn't have to lose his job. He can still be jolly and fat. Now, moving on down to the point that we're not solving for death. People eat other things. Now, bread is the common denominator. Some people eat eggplant, but not everybody does. Everybody eats bread. Everybody dies. Therefore, everybody dies from eating bread. Now, they're also said we're not solving for choking. Now, they said that children choke on pennies and marbles. And I'd like to point out, parents don't feed their children pennies and marbles. I don't think it's insane. And
so
bread,
I said grapes.
Bread is also
don't forget grapes.
Bread is the common denominator. Everybody eats bread, and everybody dies. Now, their last voter, and the thing that they said is the only important thing in the round is that a nuclear holocaust. And they like to point out that maybe 2% of the people will die, and that's a horrible thing. But 100% of the people will die if you vote for the negative team. So if you value human life, if you value the life of your father and mother and your brothers and sisters, you will vote affirmative, and you will vote to save the earth from this substance called bread. Thank you.
She has no evidence to say that 2% will die. No,
Well, you have no evidence to say
You choose
Judge,
who
is there
wins.
any evidence
App or
that you
nay.
would like to see from
Vote now.